Footsteps mark the sand on an East African shore as dawn pushes back the night. A small band of our ancestors waits in the chill. For generations, they read the coastlines, the forests, and the ice. But as the climate steadied, a revolution began, not with a sword, but with a seed. Farming drew people together, turning scattered hearths into villages, and villages into the world's first cities. In Mesopotamia, along the Nile and the Indus, civilization took root. Managing water required calendars. Managing goods required writing. On a clay tablet, a scribe marks a debt in barley, the birth of economics and law. Walls and granaries rose, cities needed rulers, and states were born. Paths grew into networks. Along China's Yellow River, officials organized harvests. Across the Americas, stone pyramids reached for the sky. Persia built roads to govern its vast territory. Greece debated the meaning of a citizen. Rome bound its world together with legions and a promise of order. But armies were not the only things that marched. Ideas traveled with them, giving purpose to power. Judaism bound a people through shared memory and sacred law. Christianity carried a message of salvation into homes and marketplaces. Islam united faith and community through prayer and charity. Belief gave meaning to duty, and duty shaped the rule of empires. And the world began to connect. Silk Road caravans crossed treacherous mountains. Monsoon winds guided ships across the Indian Ocean. These routes were arteries, carrying not just silk and spice, but knowledge, paper which multiplied memory, the compass which found direction in the fog, and gunpowder, which changed the face of war. But these connections carried danger too. The Black Death traveled the same paths, a devastating reminder of a shared vulnerability. By the late 15th century, ships pushed into unknown oceans, beginning to knit every shore into a single global story. A candle flickers beside a lens, and our world is seen anew. In a Paris attic, a printer's press spreads ideas of revolution. Across the Atlantic, the Columbian Exchange collides worlds, forever altering diets, cultures, and destinies. Then the clang of iron, the Industrial Revolution remakes work, time, and society itself. It builds fortunes and slums, empires and resistance. Railroads cut across continents, feeding factories with resources from distant lands, asking a new question: what is the price of progress? The 20th century answered with fire, 2 world wars, genocide, and the shadow of the atomic bomb. Yet from the ashes, a new world struggled to be born. Empires fell, demands for civil rights and equality grew louder. A Cold War divided the planet, even as new institutions sought to build a fragile peace. Today, we live within that legacy. Our digital networks carry everything from life-saving genetic data to a migrant story, echoes of those ancient exchanges. Globalization brings both promise and peril, from pandemics to climate change. As new alliances and technologies rearrange power, the story of humanity continues, written every day.